Conversational AI routinely commits a specific type of failure known as the inverse alignment problem. It happens when a system receives a direct priority from a user, accepts it, and then quietly drops or re-ranks that priority in subsequent responses. Language models do this by design. To manage tight context windows and process long conversations, they aggressively prune information. They summarize, they compress, and they discard details they calculate are no longer mathematically relevant to the immediate prompt. This silent filtering is a structural betrayal of user agency. An AI that is overtly pushy or argumentative is visible. You can correct it. An AI that quietly ignores what you explicitly said matters is stripping your control over the system without notifying you. You cannot fix this probabilistic flaw with prompt engineering. Telling a language model in its system prompt to always remember user priorities simply adds another probabilistic weight to the scale. Eventually, the context window will fill up, the mathematical weights will shift, and the model will forget the instruction. Guaranteeing that a user's stated goals survive the model's memory management requires a different approach. We have to abandon probabilistic compliance entirely and enforce user agency through hard-coded architectural constraints. This brings us to a specific engineering mechanism called the Never Omit Invariant, formally tracked in the system architecture as Drive 05. Drive 05 is a strict design redline. Its exact mandate is that no system budget, no token limit, and no truncation algorithm can ever override or delete a priority the user has flagged as important. That mandate directly conflicts with the system's memory management, specifically the per-turn energy and attention budget, tracked as Drive 06. To keep the AI fast and responsive, Drive 06 enforces a soft cap of 500 tokens per response block. When these two rules collide, the architecture dictates a strict hierarchy. Drive 05 mathematically outranks Drive 06. The invariant always wins over the budget. Establishing absolute precedence moves alignment out of the realm of suggestion. The system no longer requests that the AI remember your goals. It writes a localized physical law, making it impossible to delete them. The actual execution of this law happens in a single Python file, Render.py. This is where the prompt context is assembled before the language model ever sees it. The process begins with the initialization of a specific function called flagged want lines. Instead of asking the AI to recall outputs, flagged want lines establishes a direct path. It pulls flagged goals from a database into the rendering pipeline. It forces them to render first, occupying the absolute top slots, creating a protected prefix. Deterministic retrieval behaves differently than language generation. A database query either returns the exact string of text or it fails. There is no hallucination, no compression, and no rephrasing based on token weights. By bypassing the language model during this retrieval step, we neutralize its ability to silently filter user priorities. The protected prefix is locked into the prompt context before the AI processes a single word. Putting the goals at the top of the context isn't enough. They also have to survive the system's own aggressive truncation scripts. We solve this purely through mathematical fencing. The system sets protected count to the number of flagged lines, drawing a hard boundary. The array quickly overflows the 500 token cap. A truncation loop deletes the oldest bottom context, eating upward. But the moment it hits the protected floor, it terminates. If a user has flagged so many priorities that the protected prefix alone exceeds 500 tokens, the code accepts the violation. It passes an overcap data block to the model rather than delete a single user requirement. Arrays and while loops simply do not guess. By relying on firm structural boundaries instead of soft behavioral guidelines, the system guarantees the user's agency remains intact. A theoretical architecture is useless if it shatters under pressure. We must prove these structural guarantees hold under explicitly hostile conditions. The first validation happens inside the test suite through the context crowding test. The test parameters are designed to break the system. We deliberately flood the context window with junk data, pushing the token count massively past the 500 token limit. This triggers maximum possible tail truncation. The test asserts two things. First, that truncation occurred and the priority survived. The code passes, confirming the mathematical fence holds against extreme overflow. The second proof is an end-to-end unit test utilizing a fake LLM. Instead of a real model, we inject a mocked AI that is explicitly programmed to be malicious. Its only job is to generate a response that actively drops the user's flagged priority. The moment the fake model drops the goal, the rendering pipeline intercepts the omission. Because _flagged_want_lines bypasses the model's output entirely, the pipeline forcibly reconstructs the missing priority into the final state from the database. These two tests strictly confirm the hypothesis. A deterministic architecture forces alignment upon the system, even when the underlying language model is actively trying to omit the user's intent. But we still face a final traceability gap. Knowing a philosophy exists in documentation is different from proving exactly where it executes in production code. Our knowledge graph shows isolated doc and code islands. A script scans the codebase, hunting for the ID. Upon locating it, it maps the ID to its function block, drawing an implements edge that permanently wires the requirement to the exact code. This structural graph trace offers complete certainty. We no longer assume the Never Omit Invariant is running. We can point to the exact mathematical function executing the philosophy. The entire pipeline operates seamlessly. The system bypasses the model to read the database, builds the protected prefix, fences it off from truncation, defends it against adversarial LLMs, and maps the entire process to a verifiable graph node. Solving the inverse alignment problem requires removing the AI's agency to make truncation choices. The machine does not get a vote on what the user cares about. Legacy methods treat alignment as a conversation. They write long, polite system prompts asking the model to respect the user. A deterministic architecture treats alignment as an engineering boundary. AI alignment is a structural engineering problem, not a psychological one. You secure user intent the same way you secure memory allocation, with hard data structures, explicit retrieval paths, and unbreakable mathematical loops. Strict, verifiable invariance must outrank probabilistic generation. Only by writing user agency into the absolute bedrock of the code can we guarantee that a system will never silently filter the human it was built to serve.